Hey friends, it's Crystal and welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna try to keep this very short, but I am finally going to review the first 3 books in the ACOTAR series. I read these at the beginning of the year, and I didn't get around to making a review video, but now, because I'm taking a bit of a break from the series, I thought I would review them, tell you guys what I thought about them, and how obsessed I am with the series now. So let's get into it. So these books, Court of Thorns and Roses, Court of Mist and Fury, and A Court of Wings and Ruin. I don't even know how to put it into words. All right, you know what? These 3, since they're the beginning of the series, they 100% set you up for a lot. Well, mainly A Court of Thorns and Roses, ACOTAR. So what originally got me into the series was I discovered this book on Book Talk. I bought the book back in, I think it was the summer of 2020, and I never got around to reading it. It took me 4 years to finally get into the book, and what got me into the book ultimately were my friends. They just could not stop talking about the book. They would not stop recommending it to me. So I was like, all right, I'll see what the hype is about, and the hype lives up. So like I said, I'm gonna try to keep this short. So first, Court of Thorns and Roses, it sets you up for everything. It's a lot of world building. You're getting to know the characters that are going to be throughout the book. So obviously, you got our main girl, Feyre. We get to know her. We get to know her sisters in the beginning of the book and at the end of the book. We get to know Tamlin, who everybody who reads A Court of Thorns and Roses goes through their Tamlin phase of where they fall for Tamlin. I fell for him too. So there's that. You get to know, basically, like any first book in a series does, it sets the stage for everything that happens in the rest of the series. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars because, again, the hype lives up. It lives up to the hype. And so it was a 5-star read. Granted, it was slow, but it had to be slow because of the world building. Duh. So once I got past this book, you move on to the next one. A Court of Mist and Fury is book 2 in the ACOTAR series, and let me tell you, from the first page, I was hooked. By far, this one is my favorite one in the series, and I've only read the first 3. So it's saying a lot that this is my first book, or that this is my favorite book, not my first book, my favorite book. And so what I like is that Feyre goes through a lot of character development throughout these pages, as well as we get to know the inner circle of friends. Rhysand, obviously, he is High Lord of the Night Court. We get to see, or we read about a few other courts in, oh my god, why am I blanking on what it's called? The lands. What are the lands? In Prythian. Wow. We get to see a few other courts in Prithian, and just overall, the last 100 pages is what Sarah J. Maas is known for. And between these two books and the third one, the last 100 pages of each book had me stressing. This one, more so than any of the 3 books, the last 100 pages were a roller coaster of emotions, and just overall hard for me to put down. And I read this back in February. It took me a little while to get through because I work full time, but took me a little while to get through, but so worth every minute, every read. Oh, I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars because it was, again, worthy of those 5 stars. It was so good, very entertaining, and hard for me to put down. Anytime I wasn't reading the book, I wish I was reading the book. Anytime I was at work, I was like, oh, I could be reading A Court of Mist and Fury. But this is my favorite book by far in the series. It caught my attention from the start, had my attention throughout the whole thing, and it was good. It was very, very, very good. Definitely a 5 out of 5 stars. And then book 3, A Court of Wings and Ruin. Oh my god. This was also another really good one because, how do I even go about and explaining it to you? But our girl, Feyre, while you may think in the second book she went through some character development, which she did, that character development then leads to everything that takes place here, and she just becomes that girl in this book. She becomes powerful. She is starting to, she already knows her worth, and just not trying to give too much away, but let's just say there is something very sweet in a victory that takes place. So this book also is where, as not the title. As I don't want to give too much away because I don't know how many of you guys have even read these books, but without giving too much away, something very big and significant happens like in between these pages that is a huge turning point in the land of Prithian. And so I don't want to spoil too much because, again, I don't know how many of you guys have read it. So that's pretty much all I can say without spoiling. And on top of that, I started reading this book probably a month or so, a couple weeks before my breakup, and then I finished it after my breakup, and there's something significant happens again in like the last 100 or so pages that just reminded me of my ex and had me bawling my eyes out. And I remember once I got to that part, I'm texting my girlfriends, telling them just like what I'm feeling, what I'm going through within these last 100 pages, or like mainly in like that significant part. And yeah, it was that important part that reminded me of my ex just broke my heart, but also in a way provided some sort of healing to me as well. I don't know how else to put it other than it made me feel it made me feel my feelings, and I am thankful for that. I am thankful that I read this book when I did, because I don't think I would have had the same experience with it if I wasn't fresh out of a relationship. So with that being said, I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars as well. And it was just an amazing read. It wasn't difficult to get through. It was amazing, and it definitely provided me with some sort of sense of healing. So if I was to put these in a ranking order, I would put A Court of Mist and Fury as number 1. It is my favorite one. A Court of Rings and Ruin as my second, and A Court of Thorns and Roses as my third. But that's not discrediting just how well these books are written. I genuinely have enjoyed this series thus far, but A Court of Mist and Fury is definitely my favorite one. That may change once I get to A Court of Frost and Starlight and A Court of Silver Flames, but as of right now, my order is favorite, number 2, and number 3. With that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Please give it a like, leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you all have read the A Court of Thorns and Rose series. If not, let me know what you guys are currently reading right now. I am currently reading People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. Once I have finished reading all of her books, I plan on doing a review of her books similar to this. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in 2 weeks with a brand new video. Bye.